What's up, chat?
Oh, how are we, lads?
Here we go.
Welcome back to the YouTube channel. I am Nick from Australia. Tonight's video is going to be a bit of a different one. Now, as I'm sure we're all well aware of, the NRL Grand Final was last night between the Rabbitohs and the Panthers in what was a fantastic game of football. The 2021 NRL season is now completed. Now we've got to look forward to 2022. We've got about 5 months of absolutely nothing to do. So I thought, well, the NRL draw comes out normally at the end of the month, so probably at the end of October or early November, the draw will be released for next year. And what me and ProEnzo Vidz are going to do tonight, we're going to go through our 2022 round one fixture, what we would do with the draw, what we think would be good for the crowds, what would be good for Fox Sports and Channel 9 ratings. And it has been very hard to put this draw together. You know, I've got a different one to Lorenzo. It's been very, very hard to select, but I think we've come up with a very, very decent draw. ProEnzo Vidz, mate, thanks for coming on tonight. I really do appreciate it at such short notice.
Yeah, no worries, mate. I mean, it's always good to come on your channel and do videos with you. Yeah, this will be a very good video, actually. I like doing some predictions, like early predictions for next year, just based on the draw, not to do with any teams, just based on the draw. I think it's an interesting video to do. I don't think many people would do a video like this, so it's yeah, good to do. So thanks again, Nick.
No worries, bro. I think it will be a popular video. I don't think many people would have thought about this. A lot of people are going to sit there and say that we're doing this way too early. But hey, the NRL do the draw way too early. I'm hearing reports from the Daily Telegraph and a couple other sources that apparently they already have the draw set for round one next year. They've almost got it set in stone. So I thought, well, before everyone else tries to do a video on it, let's be the first to do it. So if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys go ahead and like this video, comment in the live chat. If you don't see the live stream, then make sure you comment in the comment section below what you think about the draw, what it should be for next year. And make sure you guys hit that subscribe button as well. And make sure you go and check out ProEnzo Vidz's YouTube channel. The link is in the description below. So if you don't know him, press on the description. You'll see a link. ProEnzo Vidz's channel. Press on that. Go on there. Hit the subscribe button and turn the notification bells on. And go ahead and like this video, guys. I really do appreciate it. So let me just have a mouthful of this drink, mate.
Yeah, all good.
Right. Let's go through what we reckon. So I'll start with you first, mate. What is your Thursday night? Actually, I'll tell you what. You go through your entire fixture from the Thursday to the Sunday, and then I'll ask you why you've went with what game. So go through your fixture, mate, for round one, and let's see what you got. Go ahead, bro.
All right. So Thursday night, I've got Broncos and Souths at Suncorp Stadium. Friday evening and night, I've got Raiders and the Storm as the early Friday fixture in Canberra at GIO Stadium. Then the main game, which is the game after that one, it's the Roosters and the Panthers at the SCG. And then Saturday afternoon footy, it's the Cowboys and the Titans at Queensland Country Bank Stadium to open off Super Saturday. And the next game, Bulldogs and the Warriors at Stadium Australia. And then to end it off, it's the Knights and the Eagles at McDonald Jones Stadium in Newcastle. And Sunday footy, Tigers and the Dragons at Leichhardt Oval. And then the main event, Manly and Sharks at 4 Points Park.
Holy fuck. Well, I'll tell you what. I have a very, very different draw to you. I think I probably only have one game that's probably the same as you. So we have gone very, very different with the draw. So season opener, you went with Broncos and Rabbitohs at Suncorp, did you?
Yep.
What's your reasoning behind that as the first game?
Well, there's two things. So I've already heard there's rumors about that's going to be the opening game to start the season in 2022. Doesn't necessarily mean I have to pick it, but I just feel like it will be the opening game, and I feel like that's actually a good way to open off the season because Adam Reynolds against his old club, it'd be a very, very big game when Reynolds versus South for the very first time. Obviously, Broncos are rebuilding as a new team. They've made some all right signings, and South's obviously, they've lost a couple of players, and we'll see how they go, I guess, against the Broncos. So I think that's a good way to open off the season.
All right. I like it. Not a bad start. Personally, I wouldn't go with that as a round one fixture, but if that does happen, that would be quite interesting. The Friday night, mate, the early game, the 6 o'clock game in Canberra, you had Raiders and Storm, was it?
Yep.
What was your reasoning behind that one, Raiders and Storm?
Yeah, so this one's a bit interesting, actually. I think because the Raiders, you know how disappointing they were in 2021. This year, they're very disappointing. Obviously, next year, Ricky would like to get the boys, the Raiders players, I should say, ready for 2022 with a point to prove. And I think there's no better team to do that against, which is the Storm. I think the Storm are a very good test for that Raiders team because obviously, the Raiders do have a strong team on paper. And, they do have the talent. So we'll see how they go against the Storm in Canberra as well, which would help them. So, and potentially Jamal Fogarty would be at the Raiders next year. I mean, that's potentially going to happen. So I guess that's a good challenging game because both teams will always produce something special. Like it's always a good game between the two teams. So I thought that'd be good on a Friday night, actually.
Well, I've noticed with the Raiders and the Storm, the Raiders have actually been very competitive against the Melbourne Storm over the last 3 or 4 years. So that would be a pretty good way to start Friday night. The early game at 6 o'clock. That would be interesting. The 7:50 game, mate, did you have Panthers Roosters, was it?
Panthers Roosters, yep.
Where at? Penrith or?
SCG.
Is this the SCG? Okay, wow. Why is that? Roosters Panthers. All right, interesting. Why is that?
Well, I was going to say also, I had the SCG there, but I also had slashed Sydney Football Stadium because apparently next year's the year that the Sydney Football Stadium will be built. I don't know if by March it will be ready to go. It may not be, but I just had it there in case because you never know with the whole construction and that sort of stuff. But yeah, look, I think that's a good way to end off Friday night footy. I think it's the main event pretty much. You can call it as Roosters are going to be back at full strength next year. Obviously, the Panthers are the premiers, and it's going to be a good clash. That's a really big game. Like they're two of the biggest teams in the comp. I just think that's going to be a great game overall. Actually, on a Friday night.
I think that would be a good Friday night, bro. Two really big games there. I mean, Panthers they just won the comp. The Roosters, they're a world class and a quality team. So that would be a really good Friday night main event. I really do like that. Super Saturday, mate, the 3 o'clock game. Would you go with Cowboys and Titans, was it?
Yeah.
Townsville.
Yep.
That's interesting. Why? Why Cowboys Titans?
Well, it wasn't particularly because of your hate for the Titans, because it wasn't, but it was because I feel like I actually feel like starting off Super Saturday in a hopefully a good conditions in Townsville, like hopefully at Queensland Country Bank Stadium, like it's a nice sunny day. It's good conditions in Townsville, and I feel like that's a good way to open up Super Saturday footy. I think Cowboys, obviously have a point to prove in 2022. Obviously got some new signings in Hiku, Townsend, and I feel like that'll be a good test against a couple of, I guess, a team like Titans. Titans obviously, it'd be interesting to see if they can back up themselves making the 8 this year and if they can do it again next year. So I just think that's a good way to open off Super Saturday. 2 Queensland teams going at each other. I think that'd be good.
Yeah, all right. That'll be interesting. It'll be about 35 degrees in Townsville. So the conditions would suit the Cowboys, which would be nice. The 5:30 game. What was your 5:30 game?
It was Bulldogs and Warriors at Stadium Australia.
There'll be a crowd of about 5,000, but I guess you need one game where it's not going to be as big as the others. Dogs Warriors. What's your reasoning behind that game?
It's mainly because I feel like the Bulldogs need to test. I think just because how they have such a new team, like the Bulldogs
Yeah,
have
that
got
brought about
heaps of
1,000
new
players. Yeah.
heaps of new players. It's a completely different team now. I think just a team like Warriors is a good team to kind of test themselves up against. I think Warriors are an opponent that it's good to test them. Good for a test for the Bulldogs. Like it's a pretty even matchup, I suppose, in terms of what players who has what and that. So I think that's going to be a game where it's not going to be the biggest game, but it's going to be one where it's very interesting just to see how these new players go against a mid-range sort of team like the Warriors. So I think that'd be
Yeah.
like an all right game.
Yeah, I like it. That is a pretty even game. And the 7:30 game on a Saturday night, what'd you have in that one? I'm just trying to remember what you had. Was it Parramatta
Knights
and
Parramatta.
someone?
Knights Parramatta. Yeah.
Knights of Parramatta in Newcastle.
Yep. Yep.
Interesting. All right. Why? Knights Eels, how come?
Well, I feel like you got to end Super Saturday on a high, like on a really big sort of game, because obviously looking back at the first week of finals, Knights obviously want to come into round one to start the year with a bit of revenge over Parramatta from what happened with finals week one, because there is obviously a bit of people are saying that they got robbed in that finals week one game against Eels, and obviously they'll be fuming about that. So I guess it's no better way to start off the year with Knights and Parramatta. So Knights can try and get their revenge over Eels, and obviously Eels, they're looking still pretty strong heading to next year. So I think that's going to be a very, very interesting clash to end off Super Saturday. So I like that to end the weekend.
Knights and Eels would be a very interesting fixture on the Saturday night, considering what happened in the finals, with the Gubberson. Did he knock the ball on? Was it a drop kick? All that situation. So not bad. Sunday afternoon, was it Tigers Dragons you had the 2:00 game, the Leichhardt?
Yeah, Leichhardt. Yeah, that's it.
I really liked that fixture a lot, man. What was your reasoning behind that?
Always on a Sunday footy game, like always on Sunday. I just think Leichhardt's usually the best stadium or oval, I should say, to play on a Sunday, because obviously,
Magnificent.
I hope that the conditions are good there. Like it's a dry track at Leichhardt Oval on the Sunday. Obviously, Jackson Hastings, Oliver Gildart's first game in the colours, and what better way to kind of introduce them into that Tigers team at Leichhardt Oval. So it's a good way to kind of bring them to the game or for the club. And Dragons obviously have a very different sort of team next year. Well, not too different, but a little bit different. The forward pack with Sewer coming, George Burgess, apparently Aaron Woods now. So, I think that's actually going to be a decent game, like a very even game, and that game can go either way. So I think that might be actually a really decent game, actually.
I think the ratings would be very good on Fox Sports because everyone loves Sunday afternoon at Leichhardt Oval. Everyone loves it, no matter how bad the Tigers are going and no matter how mediocre the Dragons are. Tigers, Dragons, Sunday afternoon at Leichhardt, that would be very good. And the final game you got, the 4:00 game on Sunday, Manly versus Cronulla, the old rivalry, the Battle of the Beaches. Mate, I think that's a great fixture. And what was your reasoning behind that? I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, two rivals. I mean, it's not as big as it used to be, but just Sunday footy, Manly Cronulla at 4 Points Park, Brookie Oval. It's going to be
You'll be at the
game.
You'll be in attendance, I'm sure of it.
Yes, I will. I'll try and get tickets if I can. I'll be a member next year, so going to try and get ready for that one if it does happen. But yeah, look, I just think that's going to be a good game. I think Sharks have built it very well for next year. Fitz given the new coach, it'll be interesting to see how he settles in. They've got Finucane, Hines, McInnes. They've got a lot of good things happening for them next year. A lot of good young players like Kennedy in there, so it's a good way to test all those new guys out against a team like Manly, who really went well this year. Made the top 4 in 2021. The only new signing Manly have made this year is Ethan Bullimore so far. So, and pretty much it's gonna be the same team pretty much that Manly will have next year. So I think that's a very good game to end off round one. I think it's good. Ratings will be
very, very good fixture. I think if that was the round one fixture, I would not have a problem with it. I like what you've done. You've put a lot of games very different. You've got a couple of blockbusters there as well. Mainly Cronulla, Panthers, Roosters. A lot of Broncos and Rabbitohs would be interesting as well. But Pretty good draw, mate. I'll go through my my round one fixture now, and then you can question me about the games I've selected. So, the Nick from Australia NRL 2022 round one fixture. This is what I would do. Thursday night footy, I would have the Panthers versus the Roosters at Penrith Stadium. I think that would be a great way to open the season. On the Friday night at 6 o'clock, the early game, I would also go to GIO Stadium for the Raiders versus the Newcastle Knights. I think that would be a very interesting game. Friday night, the main event, the 7:50 game up at Suncorp Stadium, the Brisbane Broncos versus the North Queensland Cowboys, the Queensland rivalry up at Suncorp Stadium on the Friday night. It would be an instant sellout, 52,000 people. It would be absolutely magnificent. Moving on to Super Saturday, the 3 o'clock game, 2 o'clock in Queensland because of daylight savings. I would have the New Zealand Warriors go up against the West Tigers. I think up at Redcliffe, Warriors, Tigers. It'd be a very, very warm afternoon up there. And like you said before about Hastings coming back for the Tigers and Sean Johnson going to the Warriors, I think Warriors and Tigers are two very unique sides that are not far away from each other on the ladder usually. I think Warriors-Tigers would be very, very interesting. Then on Saturday night, what I would do, the 5:30 game and the 7:30 game, I would have a double header at Stadium Australia. 5:30, I would have the Dragons versus the Sharks in a local derby rivalry. And then the other game at 7:40 at Saturday night, ANZ Stadium as well, I would have the Eels versus the Bulldogs. Two big rivalries in the one venue, Stadium Australia, Saturday night, 5:30, 7:30. You probably get 60, 70,000 there. It would be a great way for the NRL to bring the revenue in before the money that they lost and all that situation. I think it'd be fantastic to have a double header on a Saturday night, especially two rivalry games like the Dragons and Sharks and the Dogs and the Eels. And then on Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock, head back up to Seabus Super Stadium on the Gold Coast. Go for the Titans versus last year's grand finalists, the South Sydney Rabbitohs, up at Seabus at 2 o'clock. I think it would be a very good fixture. Titans can test themselves against the top 8 side, or top 4 team actually, and the Bunnies. And the Sunday afternoon game at 4 o'clock, Brookvale Oval, Manly versus Melbourne. Another rivalry game. I think it would be absolutely fantastic. Manly versus Melbourne, Brookvale Oval, bring back the Biff. Adam Blair versus Glenn Stewart. I think I've done well with this fixture. I've managed to get about 4 rivalry games in round 1. Broncos and Cowboys, Dragons, Sharks, Eels, Dogs, Manly, Melbourne. Got a double header on the Saturday night. Friday night, you've got a Queensland Derby, which will be an instant sellout. Panthers Roosters will be a massive sell for the opening game of the year. And Sunday, Manly versus Melbourne at Brookie. What a way to end it. The round one fixture. What a way to end it. I think that would be a fantastic way to open the 2021 or 2022 NRL season, mate. That's what I reckon the draw should be going into next season. What do you reckon, Lorenzo?
Yeah, I like how you added a lot of rivalry games to start round 1. I think that's a pretty entertaining way for the fans, especially to see a couple of rivals in there, like Broncos Cowboys on a Friday night. It's always going to be huge.
That'll sell out for sure.
Yeah, the ratings will be high and they'll be very good. Manly Storm on a Sunday. That happened back in 2020 as well. So, and I think that was an all right game. So, yeah, I like that on a Sunday afternoon. That would also be very good for the local fans there, Manly, and I like that actually. I personally like all of it. I think it's a very good draw. Actually, I wouldn't change a whole lot of it. I think to end Super Saturday, got Bulldogs and the Eels. That's gonna be a cracking game, especially with all the Bulldogs new signings, like against a bigger team like Parramatta. Like it's a good test, for those sort of players and the Bulldogs. Definitely. So yeah, I like that. Yeah, good draw, Nick.
Thanks, bro. Do you want me to go through my reasoning why?
Yeah, go through the reasoning why you chose the Raiders and Knights game. That's an interesting pick as well.
I'll get to
Actually.
that, but I'll go to the first one with Panthers and Roosters. So I
Yeah.
think the Panthers, obviously, they are the reigning premiers. They just won the premiership. I think when you win the comp, you should be on the season opening game no matter what. I don't care what team you are. I don't care where your team's from. I think whoever wins the premiership going into the next season, you should be the opening game with another team. And I think the Panthers, who just won the comp, I think the Panthers going into next year, I think they should open the first game next year. They should be season opener at home at Penrith against the Roosters, who are another big club and a quality team. I think Panthers Roosters would be the perfect way to open the season. I think it would be just outstanding. Anything else you want to add on to that one, Panthers Roosters?
Yeah, well, I had the exact same for Friday night. I just think that's going to be a huge clash. You know, Roosters back at full strength, Panthers the reigning premiers. So that's going to be huge.
Yeah, Friday night. So yeah, like I said, Raiders and Knights. I went with this fixture on the Friday night because I think GIO Stadium has been pretty good with the virus, and everything should be back to normal by the time we get to March next year. But I just think Newcastle suit that 6 o'clock time slot they've played. I think the last 3 or 4 round one games on a 6 o'clock time slot. But I think they've been at home the last couple. I think they played the Dogs this year, the Sharks last year, mainly the year before that. So they've played a lot of games where they've opened up on a 6 o'clock game. I think they should be the away team for once. And I think Canberra, 6 o'clock on a Friday night really does suit Canberra. And I think the Viking club would be out in full force, and the Newcastle fans would be enjoying. Like I think they would attend the game. I think Raiders and Knights would be a pretty interesting way to open up Friday night footy. I think it'd be very good. Anything you want to say about that?
Yeah, that's a fair description of the reasoning why behind it. I think that's, both teams are sort of the same. I think both teams have fair lineups when they both, I guess, play at their best. When both teams play at their best, it's going to be a good contest, that wants to happen. So, yeah, that's a good description. Good description.
They did have a couple of really good games against each other this year as well. I think Raiders led 16-0 against them this year sometime, and Newcastle came back and won. And I think Newcastle, I think Canberra or someone beat them. I think Newcastle beat them again. So 6 o'clock works in Canberra and Newcastle. I think it'd just be the perfect fixture, to be honest. The Friday night, obviously I went with the Broncos versus the Cowboys at Suncorp Stadium. In my opinion, it's the second or third biggest rivalry in the game today. Round one, Broncos, Cowboys, Suncorp Stadium. It's going to be an instant sellout. Both teams hate each other's guts, and I think it would be a fantastic way to open up Friday night footy, especially to end it. Be a blockbuster game. I don't know, both teams finished in the bottom 4 last year, but it's always a big clash. And Broncos, Cowboys, Suncorp Stadium, trust me when I tell you this, it'll be a sellout. It'll dead set sellout. And I think it'd be a great way to open up Friday night footy. What do you reckon?
Yeah, that'd be a classic. I think that happened in 2020 as well. Actually, when they had that Broncos v Cowboys game. Yeah, in Townsville to open up the new stadium. Yeah, so yeah, that's a good way to open up Friday night or end Friday night footy, I should say, and start off round one. That's rivalry games always good to start with.
Yeah, I agree. Cowboys Broncos would be a good way to open up the season on the Friday night. Super Saturday, I went with the Warriors versus the Tigers up at Redcliffe. I think the Warriors. Personally, I think the NRL are going to try and keep the Queensland teams at home for the first start of the year. I don't think they're going to make them travel early on because obviously the virus and trying to work around it and all that. And I think Volando and Andrew Abdo will probably want to try and keep the Queensland teams away from Sydney to start the year. And the Warriors, obviously, they're going to be based at Redcliffe. So I think Warriors and Tigers would be a very good way to open up Super Saturday. Both teams are very, very unpredictable. You don't know what you're going to get. Warriors get Sean Johnson back. Tigers get Jackson Hastings, Oliver Gildard, and a few others there. So I think Warriors Tigers. I think it'd be a very entertaining game to open up Super Saturday.
Yeah, it would be. It would be. I mean, both teams are sort of got a lot of talk heading to next year because Warriors have got Sean Johnson being back there, and obviously Warriors have got a fair lineup. Got Fanua Blake, got there's Lesniak, Aiken. They've got some fairly good players there, and with the Tigers, Hastings, Gilder. So it's going to be an interesting game. That's actually going to be a good contest, I think.
I think that would be a good opener. Plus it'd be very hot up there at Redcliffe. It'd be a 2 o'clock kickoff. Queensland, 3 o'clock in New South Wales. So it'd be very warm conditions. I think it'd be a very good. Opener on Super Saturday, and then we get to Saturday night, 5:30 and 7:30. I've gone with a double header. I've got the Dragons and the Sharks at 5:30 at ANZ Stadium or Stadium Australia, Telstra Stadium, whatever you want to call it. And then I got the Eels and the Dogs after it, back to back. Look, Dragons, Sharks, Eels, Dogs. Saturday night footy, 5:30, 7:30. You could, people are not working on Saturdays. People got the weekend off. What better way to just go to the footy in Sydney, go to a doubleheader at Stadium Australia? It wouldn't sell out at 85,000 or anything like that, but I reckon you could get 50 to 60,000 there. It'd be a great way to have Super Saturday. I think it'd be outstanding.
Yeah, I like the double header idea. When you said that the first time, I was like, yeah, that's a really good idea. Because Stadium Australia is obviously a great stadium. It's it hasn't been used in a while now because of COVID and that. So yeah, having a double header to start the season off back at there would be really, really good, I think. And Dragons Sharks derby game. That's going to be really good to start the season off. It was like that early this year as well on the Sunday when both teams did play each other on that was in Cogra, I'm pretty sure. And then Bulldogs and Parramatta, a huge rivalry game, one of the biggest rivalries in the NRL right now. That's going to be a cracker. That would be a really good game to test the new recruits for the Bulldogs out against a bigger team like Parramatta. Yeah.
Yep, I'm with you. Dragons and Sharks would be a fantastic game on Saturday night. I think Dragons and Sharks are just perfect for round one. They live right next door to each other, dead set. They're not far away. It's like 10, 15-minute drive, if flat. And, if they all just head down to ANZ Stadium and they have a doubleheader with Eels and Bulldogs, great way to open it on Super Saturday night, or the Saturday night fixture, I should say. I think it'd be absolutely outstanding. And plus, it'd be good for the NRL. They would make a lot of money as well with the Saturday night game, double header. Fox Sports would love it as well. I think it'd be easy for Fox Sports. So I think it'd be good to have a double header on the Saturday night. And now on the Sunday, the 2 o'clock game up at Seabus. I would have the Titans and the Rabbitohs. I think that would be a very entertaining game. Again, in Queensland, it'd be a 1 o'clock time slot. Titans versus Rabbitohs. I think that would be a interesting game. The Titans last year, they made the top 8, or this year I should say, and Rabbitohs made the grand final. So Titans Souths, I think it'd be interesting. Souths will be a different team next year. The Titans look very similar, so Titans might be a little bit different as well. So Titans and Souths could be interesting, bro. It'd be a hot day as well.
Yeah. I think it's an interesting way to kick off Sunday footy. I didn't really consider that when I was making my round one fixture. I didn't really consider that actually being games. So yeah, that's interesting. You've picked that. But yeah, I think Rabbitohs will have no Gagai, no Reynolds, no Sewer. So it's going to be a very different
team now, isn't it?
Different team, exactly, and it'd be much easier for the Titans as well. I think Titans will be different as well because they may not have Fogarty there next year, but it would be a bit more even, I guess, in some way. It might be a little bit, I guess, closer than what people think. And both teams can score points as well, and both teams are known for having a bit of edgy defense sometimes. So it would be a contest, I think, definitely.
And I think the Titans would appreciate playing a top side like the Bunnies to start their campaign for 2022. I think they'd really enjoy another tough clash. So Titans Souths, Sunday afternoon, 2 o'clock would not be a bad way to open up Sunday ticket or Sunday footy, whatever you want to call it. And the final game, I've got Manly versus Melbourne at Brookie. I think it would be outstanding. The Manly fans would come out from everywhere. They obviously want a bit of payback from the qualifying final. I'm sure you as a Manly fan would love to play someone like Melbourne early on, get them out of the way, get the hard games out of the way early on. You know, obviously you would want a bit of payback from last year against Melbourne, or this year I should say. But I think Melbourne as well, you know, they would prefer playing at Amy Park to start the year. But I think mainly Melbourne, Sunday afternoon, Channel 9 would love it. Free TV would love it. Mainly Melbourne would be awesome.
Yeah. You know, we see what kind of games it's like. You know, it's always a very, very like, you know, tough game. It's always very defensive. Usually, most of the time, it's always a classic match.
Sure.
Yeah, sell out. How good will a sellout be at Brookie? Like, it's just fantastic if it was to happen. Like, you know, obviously Storm, you know, they're always a competitive team, and I guess coming up against Manly, who exceeded, you know, did better than expected this year, and will be versing a much bigger team to start next year. It would be good to get them out of the way early on, and also just to test ourselves against a bigger team, like, you know, just test ourselves against a bigger side to start the year. I think that's a very good way to start the season. For Manly especially.
Definitely. All right, so that's our reasoning behind our fixtures. Before we go, in case people missed it, Lorenzo, you go for your draw quickly. Once again, I'll go for mine, and we'll probably wrap it up there. So what's your draw for round one, mate?
All right, so Thursday night, I had Broncos and the Rabbitohs at Suncorp Stadium. My Friday night fixtures, I had the first game being the Raiders and the Storm in Canberra. Then the next game, I had the main event, Panthers and the Roosters at the SCG. Then Super Saturday footy, I had the first game being Cowboys and the Titans at Queensland Country Bank Stadium. Then after that, I had the Warriors and the Bulldogs at Stadium Australia. Then to end off Super Saturday, I had the Knights and the Eels at McDonald Jones Stadium. Then Sunday, I had the first game being Tigers and the Dragons at Leichhardt Oval. Then to end off round one, it's the Sharks and the Sea Eagles at Four Pines Park.
Absolutely fantastic. My 2022 NRL round one fixture, Thursday night, Panthers and Roosters at Penrith Stadium. Friday night, 6 o'clock, Raiders versus Knights at GIO Stadium in Canberra. Friday night, 7:50 at Suncorp Stadium, Broncos versus Cowboys. Super Saturday, 3 o'clock up at Redcliffe, Warriors versus West Tigers. Saturday night, a double header at Stadium Australia. 5:30, Dragons versus Sharks. 7:40, Eels versus Bulldogs. Two rivalries at Stadium Australia on a Saturday night. Sunday afternoon, 2 o'clock, I've got the Titans and the Rabbitohs up at the Gold Coast. And Sunday afternoon, I've got the Seagulls versus the Storm at Brookie. ProEnzo, Vidz, mate, thanks for coming on tonight. I really appreciate your time. Thanks for coming on, brother.
Yeah, no worries, Nick. It's like I said at the start, it's always good coming on the channel and do these sort of videos. Appreciate it again.
No worries, brother. Make sure you guys go and check out ProEnzo Vidz's YouTube channel. The link's in the description below. Guys, have a good night. Let me know what you think about our round one 2022 fixtures. Thanks for watching, lads. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Hey, chat.